With the federal election entering its final days and party platforms now finally released, we're stepping back to take a look at where the parties stand on some key issues. Today, we're talking about affordable housing. Let's bring in Rob Shaw at the BC Legislature for more on this. So, Rob, can you recap for us where the parties stand on affordable housing? It's a big issue in this election.
Well, Stacey, it is a big issue, and unlike what you might have just heard there, some people do vote on issues and not just national leaders and national polls. Affordable housing, a top issue in last year's provincial election. Two very different plans here by the front-running Liberal and Conservative parties. Let me take you through them. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre taking a hard line with threats to penalize and override municipalities that tie up housing construction with their red tape and fees, similar in a lot of ways to Premier David Eby. The Conservatives proposing a target on municipalities of 15% growth in housing each year. Tie that to federal funding so cities that do better get a bonus. Cities that do worse get funding cuts. Also, a threat from the Conservatives to fine local governments that block housing with that not in my backyard type protest, and an incentive to match local cuts to development costs to shave up to $50,000 off the price of homes. Now, Poilievre said he would also eliminate GST for first-time home buyers on properties under $1.3 million, and he'd sell off 15% of the federal government's land for affordable housing within the first 100 days. Here he is on that.
I know Liberals will gasp. They don't want anybody to own a home. They think everybody should live in a government dwelling. We will be selling the land so that Canadians can buy homes that belong to them and that give them the pride of home ownership and the home equity.
Liberal leader Mark Carney taking a different approach, restarting what he says was Ottawa's leadership role in helping people build fast, affordable housing after the Second World War. The centerpiece of his plan, a new standalone federal development agency called Build Canada Homes, with $25 billion in financing, leaning into things like prefabricated construction to start building affordable housing and double the Canadian output to 500,000 homes per year. Carney also promising federal cash to municipalities that cut their development charges, said that could shave $40,000 off the price, boost government's existing housing accelerator fund, and eliminate also GST on first-time home buyers, but with a lower threshold of under $1 million.
We have solved a housing crisis before in our past. We can solve the housing crisis now. It's time to build. And my government has a plan to do just that. We have the experience, much of it standing behind me, and we have the resolve to get this done.
The federal NDP with an ambitious housing plan also setting aside federal land for up to 100,000 rent-controlled homes and new low-interest public-backed mortgages by the Canada Housing and Mortgage Corporation, along with some rental protections and boost to the Housing Accelerator Fund. Now, the Greens, they want to triple the housing stock within 7 years and cap the amount that you would pay in a federally built housing project to 30% of your income, as well as some GST cuts on affordable rental development and some low-interest loans to nonprofits. So, Stacey, there is a lot in there. In the end, it kind of boils down to, do you think Ottawa should be in the business of building housing, or should it be in the business of making way for the private sector to do that? Carney has an ambitious kind of wartime era building plan. Poilievre is going after those bottlenecks in municipal levels that prevent the private developers from getting their private projects built. Two very different plans, but both aggressive in their own way on the housing affordability problem.